Tomate, Nili, round of 64. Good. And capture age. Okay, so we have Nili versus Tomate here in the round of 64. It's another best of 3. We've got Nili in the north of the map in red as the Vikings, going for a stable opening. Opposite him, we have Tomate in the yellow as Ethiopians, also with a stable. So Nili manages to get the first hit. Tomate gets the first hit on Nili's scout. And Tomate pulling villagers off of gold onto deer and sending some out from the TC to deer as well. This is something I haven't seen players do. Could be wrong, but it's not something I've seen a lot of. Hi guys and JB, is it first game? Yes, this is game 1 of Nili versus Tomate. So we are, you caught us just as we've launched, so perfect time in Pantless Bird. So Nili now is building his archery range, Tomate doing the same. Tomate 1 up on scout numbers, but Nili is here now with a spearman as well. Has another spearman coming at home. JB, it's not a guy, which is correct, he is indeed a sentient book. So Nili will chase the scouts from Tomate back to his base with the spears here now. Nili could either use the spears aggressively, moving forward, trying to support his scouts and doing damage, or use the spears at home. He has stopped production of them for the time being. Both players, Nili's got double bit axe, Tomate only just getting it now. And archer production starting for both players. Tomate just ahead on those at the moment. Nili has an exposed villager here. His scouts are out of position, so the villager is going to walk towards the spearman. Will Tomate commit? No, he does not. Good defense there from Nili, pulling the villager back towards the spearman rather than back towards the TC. Towards the TC would have meant death for the villager. Okay, Archer's now coming forward for Tomate. Nili has 2 of his own, but again, the spearman not in position to support this. Nili looping round to the right with his scouts. Again, villagers should die on the woodline here. And Nili now adding a second range. Gonna need to... could have garrison, didn't. And... the scouts have come back for Nili. Archer's coming back as well. Gonna pick off the reinforcements coming forward for Tomate. Tomate still has a spearman in there. And so Nili's scouts died very, very quickly. Nili's back now with more archer numbers, so should be able to defend this for now. And taking minimal eco damage. Nili is the Vikings, so should be having a very solid eco behind this. Looking good for Tomate. Yeah, it's a good start. Only adding a second archery range now though, so could be behind on numbers, but is getting the armor upgrade. And switching into skirmishers. Okay. So recognizing slightly behind on numbers. I don't know, did Tomate see the second range? Yes, so he saw the 2 ranges, so going to mix in some skirmishers and just play a little bit more passively, accept the damage that he's just dealt. Nili is walling up at the back here. Like to see those palisades just get hit because the scouts are looping that way. Needs a house, otherwise the scouts are going to be in. And they are in. They are weak, so Nili could turn around and try and fight this. He is. I think he loses the villager but kills the scout. And that remains open at the back. Nili now trying to wall the front here. Tomate playing passively with his army other than that scout, so Nili should be able to complete these walls. There is 1 scout, it is weak, so should die to a villager if he chooses to engage. Nili has clicked up first, and now getting horse collar and mining upgrade, and will presumably continue archer production. Tomate stopped. Did Nili stop making villas to go up? Looks like he idled a little bit, yeah. 39 versus 46. But I think you'd kind of accept that being Vikings because they get the free wheelbarrow. So yeah, that's 2 villagers of idle time, and Tomate's killed 3. Sorry, I mean 2 villagers difference of idle time. Did Nili get Town Watch? No, don't think so. How Nili played so far? Have the other opponents just been rolled? Yeah, basically. I mean, like, so his opponents so far have been a 1k player and then a 1600. So the 1600 put up a decent fight, but the outcome of that is always going to be fairly inevitable. So Nili about to hit Castle Age, going for the University first again. So it's going to be focusing on ballistics as soon as possible. Tomate is still a minute away. 16 archers versus 15, but those 15 are shortly going to be crossbowmen. Tomate pulling his mass back, gone for 3 rangers, so he's been able to catch up. Nili is going to have to increase his production buildings if he wants to keep up the mass, or try and match the mass, I should say. Tomate also mixing in skirmishers. Is he going to have the resources for elite skirm and crossbow? Potentially, actually, but wouldn't be able to add a university or extra town centres. So, would be a fairly big trade-off in my eyes. Okay, so it is town centres. So, eco approach for Tomate. Nili staying on 1 for the time being. Has ballistics completing in another 10 seconds. So looking to try and take an engagement. Nili trying to wait for ballistics. Tomate then gets crossbow. Also bodkin in for both players. First armor upgrade only each. And Nili has 1 sat behind the woodline on the left hand side. That's going to be awkward for Tomate. Tomate has built a university, but he's going to be a bit down on the wood count that he needs because he went for the town centre. So can't afford ballistics as of yet. Nili still on 2 rangers and is adding a siege workshop. Both players just dancing backwards and forwards here, neither really wanting to sacrifice their numbers. With Nili's reinforcements coming in, he does take the lead. Tomate idling his production in order to be able to afford ballistics. And will now resume his crossbow production. Nili moving in with the second group on the left hand side. Could go over and idle the gold miners a little bit. Thank you, Rusty. I had missed that. I was focusing on the fight here. At some point, they're going to engage. Tomate now with ballistics. He's going to jump out, and Nili pulling back a little bit. Nili does have the numbers advantage here. No, he's 1 down. But more reinforcements come in. Nili now going to add a second TC, and has a mangonel moving forward as well. Nili looking like he's going to come back just to try and control that hill for the time being. Yeah, Nessa, Nili's been climbing a lot of late, and a split into the mangonel shot. That is big damage for Nili. Tomate needing to pull back a little bit, though that engagement didn't go too well for Nili, but another mangonel shot forcing Tomate back. Nili is down on the crossbow numbers, but with the mangonel there, again, more crossbows been picked off. Where did he come from then? He was sitting just outside the top 100, maybe at the start of the year, I think. But he's really working on trying to improve, try and climb. So crossbows, mangonel's just out of position again. Second mangonel is coming forward. No siege workshop for Tomate. The crossbows losing out here because they are focusing the mangonel, so they are getting picked off by the crossbows. And mangonel shots from the second one here for Nili. Nili pulling his crossbows back. Good micro from Tomate here to take a good trade. I guess the Ethiopian faster firing rate doing really, really good work there. Nili has a second group of crossbows at the back. Tomate just struggling for wood income. He's got a fair bit banked up, but Nili forced him off the wood line in the south, forced him off the wood line in the west. Tomate now going out with a new TC. Production, Nili still on 2 ranges. Ooh, missed the attack ground there. It was good micro, but I think the trade went so well for Tomate because of the faster firing rate. I didn't see Thumb Ring come in for either, but that doesn't mean it didn't and I just missed it. So Nili is in with a small group of crossbows on the back here, idling some of the farmers and taking another good attack here. Tomate splitting around the mangonel. There is a repair villager forward now and a second mangonel incoming. The repair villager dies to the crossbows. Nili didn't attack, he I think clicked by mistake instead. And Nili is way down on crossbows, adding another range now. So the crossbows in Tomate's base get cleared up. I can't see where the bodies are. I wonder if they're behind the university from running into TC. We've got crossbows dying to mangonel shots again. Ooh, that's not such good trades for Tomate. Crossbows behind about 7 bills though. Yeah. This time, Nili managing to do good eco damage. Crawdad, hello, welcome. And so it's a 4th range coming up now for Tomate. He has gone on to stone, so he's going to be looking to add a castle. Nili is also on stone and now getting Thumb Ring. That will help even the trades. Tomate adding more archeries. Why? Because archers are your best unit as Ethiopians, so it makes complete sense to try and outmass. Nili is taken into skirmishers. Siege Workshop. A Siege Workshop could be a better option, yes, but it could be that he doesn't fancy his micro against Nili in terms of mangonel micro and could instead be relying on the splits with crossbows. Another villager goes down, and there is crossbows on the hill just outside Nili's base. Nili is about to switch into skirmishers instead, adding a lot more ranges, so it's going up to 5 ranges for Nili, and worth sending a couple of units across to deal with the crossbows on the left hand side. There's another batch coming in here. Nili reacts instantly and garrisons TC firing on the crossbows. No losses there for Tomate, but he now pulls his army back. Nili just house walling behind the palisades here. Could do with the same at the back of his base. Ethiopian crossbows should go through the palisades fairly quickly. Nili is coming forward with villagers. So Nili is looking for a castle. He's just a little bit short of the stone he needs. I don't think he's got much in the way of military presence there though. Nili has the stone. Yeah, just about to. Another batch of villagers coming forward. And a castle here could be huge. Denying this gold. There's only a little bit of gold left there, but denying the wood line. Tomate is going to be forced to go to this gold at the back. That castle location is really strong, and Tomate's crossbows are really out of position. The castle goes up. Nili still has a mangonel at the back of Tomate's base, taking out crossbows. Yeah, mangonel forward from Tomate, but it can't engage here because Nili's there with the castle. Going out to the gold at the back, but he's out of gold. There's no gold income for Tomate. It means that he's going to fall behind in the numbers more. Nili's gone into crossbows. I think into skirmishes. I think Tomate needs to do the same. You can't keep fighting against skirmishers with crossbows. Even Ethiopian ones. So Nili is going to start taking out these production buildings. Market coming up for Tomate. He's going to try and balance his eco to be able to continue producing. I think he should stop crossbow production altogether. 4th TC though. Yeah, I'm not really going to class that as a 4th TC because this one will go down very, very soon. Good mangonel shots for Tomate, taking out some of the skirmishers. Nili is here with his own mangonel, and it's 1 for 1. 3.5 CC though. Nili with a mass of crossbows and skirmishers on the right hand side will pick off this mangonel. They've come within the minimum range. The skirmishers not able to fire on it, so taking out the outpost instead. Yeah, 3.4 now. Good attack ground from Tomate. Does very well to get any value out of that, and I don't know whether that died or whether there's a delete, but I think both players will be relatively happy with the trade-off there. Nili getting a good attack there with the mangonel just before it goes down to the villagers, and more production coming forward. Nili on the way to Imperial Age. So Tomate is forced off of this stone. Not going to be able to... Oh, I assume that was an attack ground because he managed to take out Nili's... Huh? In less than a minute? I don't understand. Tomate now adding a monastery. Okay, because he needs the second building. He's got the second building. Doesn't need that monastery. I think that's... I don't think a monastery is going to help him at this point. Nili with the 1-for-1 trade again. I thought it was going to get a bit of a splash damage on the crossbows here. By not going siege and greedy 3 archery lost. I would say the persistence into crossbows over skirmishers. As soon as Nili switched into skirms, you need to switch into skirms as well. And yeah, we have the GG. Nili takes the first game. All mangoes. Yeah, a siege workshop would make a lot of sense. It could just be that Tomate wasn't confident in his mangonel micro versus Nili. We did see Nili take the slight better trades with mangonels, so that could have been his thought process. The thing with open qualifiers, he was already on 3 archery ranges by the time he hit Castle Age, so 2 archery range and siege wasn't really an option. I would have said no, I would say the university before the TC so that he could get ballistics straight away. Rather than idle in production, he could have had ballistics sooner and taken a better engagement earlier on. And then in which case, Nili wouldn't have been able to be here with siege. He would have been defending at home because he would be way down on numbers. This gold was very exposed, yes, so I understand wanting to put a TC there straight away. But I think this was the better option. It then would also, so like coming out here would also protect this wood line a little bit, where Nili had an awful lot of joy. Forced Tomate off of wood a few times. So I don't think the 4th range was the mistake. I think the mistake had happened before then. Yeah, Nili with the better KD. As I said, the switch into skirms needed to be mirrored by Tomate. And Nili ahead in all eco categories. You'd expect Vikings to be well ahead in food, but I think with the higher vill count, much less idle time, which we can check because I have Capture Age Pro. So worker efficiency, nearly 55%, only 39% for Tomate. What's floating resources? Okay. And yeah, okay. And Capture is just going to get the game as well, and we are in. We have Haboob, Jive, well guessed. So we have Tomate here in the yellow as Magyars against Nili in the red as Magyars. So this map you have wood around the outside and the two central wood lines. What's that thing in the middle? It's just a aesthetic thing, nothing too important. So it's just a little temple. Both players going for the stable approach. So we should see some spearman production. Nili with one out already. And Tomate here attacking villagers with his scout, losing a little bit of HP. Nili keeping his alive for the time being. Both players have come off gold. Nili stayed on with one villager. And so a spearman is on the way forward for Tomate. Nili adding a range. Tomate hasn't yet. So this map promotes an awful lot of aggression. So you've got the wood lines with your lumber camps at the back, and the stone terrain makes it quite tricky to wall in. This is the best you can do, which means that they're often very, very exposed to archers. Nili with spearmen in defense and sending a scout attacking spearmen at the front. Two more looping round. Could potentially dive on the hunting villagers in the centre there. And Nili also walling in his villagers here. He's got two spearmen in defence, one spearman covering around his huntables as well. But Nili has started archer production way before Tomate. Tomate with that spearman just in the middle, so as Nili's scouts come forward, they keep running into that spearman. Well, that's his second one he's lost to it. But Nili in on the woodline here. Tomate didn't finish the wall ups. Should be at least one dead villager, but the spearman coming across now. I think Nili needs to run away. He does. So Tomate here with some weakened scouts and a spearman. Nili coming across to defend with some spears of his own. Pulls the villagers back off berries. And the spears for Nili starting to pick off the scouts. So spear versus spear in the centre there. Nili looping around with his scouts, diving on the berries. Nope, just running past. Oh, he is diving. So could be a dead villager. No, it pulls away before the new spearman arrives. And Nili has plenty of spearmen in defence, so Tomate not switching across, he's adding skirmishers, he's getting his first armour upgrade through scouts and adding a second range. Nili 4 scouts versus 2. Tomate just getting fletching now. Nili's fletching just comes in. And Tomate needs some spears here rapidly. He has 3 of them all to the south. They're not in position to deal with these scouts. But Nili pulls away from the archers. Tomate still no scouts to help. No spears here to help. That forces him off the berries completely. Heavy on gold, so expect a range not a range, a blacksmith. Words are hard. A market fairly soon from Tomate to try and balance that out as he starts to bank more and more. But actually, instead, he's going for 2 range. Thank you, the syntactic salt. As I said, words are hard. I'm already trying to think of the next thing that I'm talking about. Doing good, JB. Cheers, Nessa. Pro streamer and all that. And so scout going down for Nili, but he is here with a fairly formidable army. Scouts, spearmen, archers. He's not added the second range that Tomate has, so could be looking to click up a little bit sooner. And Tomate is trying to rush down a tower and trying to see what military's still alive, and this could be GG. No, the tower goes up. Nili's pulling away. Towers are common on this map, but often you'll see them in the woodlines. Nili's here now with a archer, so these villagers will gradually die to that. Tomate looking to try and counterattack. Nili producing reinforcements inside his range. Nili does have a market and could buy his way up. That should be enough if he garrisoned. Nili stopped production. He is going to go castle. There's scouts in on the wood line. And scouts and spears. Nili pulling his scout to within range of his archer. More spears now coming. There's open wood line there. And so this villager should die. And Nili will probably just try and break out with the scout. And Tomate doesn't have much military. He's coming back with a scout and a skirm. And did manage to get the walls up on the villager there. Villagers on the woodline, sorry. Tomate continuing archer production and the odd scout. Nili managing to kill Tomate's scout, and now we'll take out the skirmisher. And the archer will come down here, getting more villager kills on the woodline. This is impressive from Nili. 8 kills, 0 deaths, or eco deaths. So, and castle age nearly in, and doesn't even wait till castle age. Really, really effective performance there from Nili. Like, the tower on the gold, I think, is huge. Like, normally you on this map, you'd rely on being able to get your villagers back to the TC or have the military presence to protect it. And the towers you will often see on the woodline. For that exact reason, Nili was able to sit there with one archer and kill so many villagers on the woodline. Clinical performance from Nili. So military, 34 kills, 15 losses. What was it? Half of that was villagers. Sorry, no. A quarter. Twirling at home. Great name. Welcome to the stream. So Nili ahead on all eco stats there. He was very close to castle age as well, with equal villager count, and still having the stone to be able to drop 2 TCs if he wished. He doesn't really have the wood, but Nili with a lot of options there. Alright, Nili advances through to the next round.